Hi everybody! So I'm doing another YouTube session today. This is also a soul rebirth journey. This is for Julian, and I've done quite a few soul rebirth journeys for Julian, so I'm really excited today to be reconnecting with you. So some just brief on the background story. So Julian's interconnected with alien experiences and feels part of the hybrid children type of program where I don't know, I don't dabble a whole lot, but I know that it's a part of, like, some souls come to planet Earth, and our role is to help interconnect our human DNA species, our human design, with the great alien design. Some people feel that the human species actually evolves into great aliens, and now great aliens have come back into this timeline in order to reprogram their identity so they can re-merge with having emotions and sexuality again. So that's just the best I can tell you about my understanding about hybrid stuff. But Julian's really open-minded and welcoming me to explore whatever I am experiencing in the now moment that and we'll just see what comes, okay? So I will see if there's anything about this. You say, you were telling me that you've had some recent just great alien interactions and some lost time experiences. You would really like to have more echoing memories of what the spaceship is like, that sort of thing. And you were prompted to get some energy work done with me. So I'm just going to relax. I'm super excited. Julian, you're awesome. Thank you for sharing. And for those of you watching, if you don't know anything about alien interactions and that sort of thing, this will be really interesting for you. And we'll just see what the energy atmosphere looks like for you, Julian. So I'm just going to chill out. One more thing. I have been dealing with a runny nose, so I might have to pause it every now and then to blow my nose, but it shouldn't be too jarring in the flow, okay? So, I'm just going to relax. I'm just connecting with my higher self, my spirit guides. It's really heavy, dense energy that I'm experiencing right now. Really substantially heavy around my head and shoulders region. I feel like I'm kind of like a rock crushed under the weight of gravity, if that's even possible, but the gravity is really heavy, and I feel heavy because of the weight of the gravity itself is so heavy it could break rock. It's harder to breathe in this type of atmosphere. The density of the gravity, the air, everything is really kind of suffocating. I feel so heavy. I almost feel kind of crushed by the atmosphere, and so I just lay down, and it's almost like a moment of death. What am I experiencing right now? There's no visual image. I'm simply feeling all of this, and I'm experiencing its own storyline without visual cues. It feels like I'm in another world, another universe, but like another planet, specifically planet, but the atmosphere is changing and it's crushing me. And I feel like my only thing left that I could do for my survival is simply lay down and be crushed by the weight of the atmosphere and to die, basically. I don't look at it as death, though. I simply look at it as letting go or freeing from this current experience and moving into a new experience. There is a devastation because I feel the weight of the atmosphere changing, and I don't feel sad. I don't feel any emotional grief about this. I have a basic instinct to survive, but I don't feel emotional grief from this. It's sort of on the equivalent of being in a desert and trying very, very hard to continue to walk even though you are so thirsty. It feels like the weight of the world is so much heavier because your basic needs are taken from you, and now you are heavier and heavier and heavier to the point that all you can do left is to lay down and allow death to take you. But this isn't a devastating moment. It's simply, I've done all I can. I am letting go now. The difference is this is not a desert. This is actually the atmosphere of what is another planet, is what it feels like, and what is a death experience for a different type of consciousness. Not every creation in Infinite Universe has emotions like we do. Every creation in Infinite Universe has sexuality like we do. Not every creation in Infinite Universe even has a voice. So we are uniquely designed creation, and it's cool when you start to expand out on what all is out there. What is this creation? Is this a great alien being? I'm not necessarily convinced this is a great alien being. And what is the bigger message of this story in the first place? I don't know yet. It's hard as a human being to feel the echo of this, because I feel crushed, and the crushing weight, the physical survival, is actually crushing my emotional body, is how it feels. I feel devastated emotionally. In the human reality, when I try to translate this from a physical standpoint, what is the echo of one person's experience in an infinite universe, and it comes back to me. Instead of it being like physically crushing, it feels physically crushing, but I just let go without emotion. When I translate it back into the human body, I feel emotionally crushed. And it's like so emotionally crushing that I can't breathe. I feel like I'm it's a panic attack moment. I can't get the air in. I feel devastated. I feel like crying. I feel like falling to my knees. This really quickly, just to give you one clue, it's like you could have a past life on another planet. The past lives are always there. No matter what part of a timeline you are on, whether you are in a future or a past or a present or whatever you want to call it, because time is an illusion. Time is the ability to have an experience that feels like it's full of events, right? And then you could age, or you don't have to age. You can leave and move on to have new experiences. So time allows you to have the development of your soul, basically. So here in, let's just say, a past life, this event happened to you, Julian, in a past life, and you died from it. Now your soul still carries that memory in the current lifetime. In the current lifetime, it's trying to relate to that memory, which you have thousands and thousands of soul memories. It's trying to relate to that specific memory by creating or exploring information or wisdom to explore what is emotional reactions to things that could even feel emotionally crushing. So I'm trying to make sense of what is the connection between this, what is like a lifetime, past life experience kind of thing. How is that intertwining with my feelings of being emotionally crushed? So I'm just exploring this right now. I don't want to let go this time. I don't want to let go of the feeling emotionally crushed, because it's the emotions that make me feel alive. It's not the physical form, it's the emotions that make me feel alive. If I simply have a physical experience, I'll just feel the physical experience, but I won't have anything to relate to it. Without emotion, without thought, I can't really translate the physical experience, so the physical experience is just had. But then once the physical experience includes emotions, now I live by emotion. I just happen to have a vessel in order to explore those emotions. So I need to have emotions in order to comprehend myself. Without emotions, then I'm just a vessel going through the motions, and there's sort of a robotic aspect to it. But it doesn't define itself as robotic. This truly is a consciousness. It's like communicating through me, but it also somehow is interconnected with you. I'm still learning about it, okay? The consciousness is very heavy, and I still feel extremely heavy from it. I feel sad inside myself. I feel emotionally sad. Like I never want to stop crying for all eternity, because it's been that long since I've had emotion, that if I could have a life where I just simply cried so that I could understand all of the experience that I've had in a form that has no emotions, then I will choose to have a form that now has emotions in order to translate the experiences I had over what could be thousands and thousands of years as what could be, for instance, a gray alien being not able to comprehend its identity without emotions. It needs emotions then to comprehend itself. Otherwise, it will just simply be a form. They don't like being called just a form. They feel They feel I haven't identified it quite right. But I'm okay with that, because I'm trying to make sure that it is aligned with exactly as they're communicating, or exactly as they feel. So I am supposed to identify this as a gray alien conversation, okay? There is a quite an adoration, but it's not necessarily adoration other than extreme longing to something within them that is moving them to deeply want to be expanded. If they have no emotions, then how could they have that longing? I tell the one that the longing comes from the soul and the longing to feel love in the incarnate state. And now you see the human has access to the emotion. So now we understand. You too, Julian, long to comprehend beyond the human form, because to you, the human form is understood. You live in the human form, and so, but as all human beings, for instance, we feel like we long for something more than this. It's funny because we have everything. We already have everything, but why do we long for something more than this? Now we seek out an advanced alien race, so to speak. I'm not calling anybody advanced or less advanced here because they're wanting to know why I say advanced, as if I don't believe that they're advanced or something of this nature. But I'm simply saying that we see them as having more understanding even about ourselves when they aren't us. They don't know us like we know us. They simply would love to, within themselves, would love to have our gift of emotion. And they don't relate to advanced. That's not that word is really the wrong word, because we are raised in a society that says, you are smart, you are dumb, your test scores prove this. That's not what what true balance is. True balance is not looking at things in this way. True balance is seeing the diversity of everyone. And we're starting to learn slowly but surely that some people learn in certain ways and other people learn in other ways. And just because you're awesome at math doesn't mean this person who's awesome at art can't be also as advanced intellectually. They just aren't, their frequency isn't to develop intelligence with math. But we force kids to develop intelligence with math that are actually more tuned into working with wood. But God forbid we ever create a school that actually caters to what kids' frequency or DNA identity is all about in order to develop them into who they are meant to be. We just want them to be meant to go to do science and math and all this other garbage, and then grow up to run our businesses and our corporations, and to continue to create more volume of wealth or value. It has nothing to do with value because people aren't valued at all on our planet. This is a conversation about value, and yet they are so drawn to how emotional we are. We are complete, but yet we don't see that in ourselves. We don't feel that way in ourselves, how complete we are. This is really hard because it's really like I feel a landscape around myself as I'm communicating through this video here, and it's really like magnets. I don't know how to describe it, but you could put two magnets together and then you try and pull them apart, and they're like, no, don't pull me apart. We're together. No, don't pull me apart. There's something weird about the gravity that I feel kind of like squished. Like the magnets are pushing me together too much, and I feel kind of squished by it. I also feel weird in my muscle tissues, and everything in me feels kind of weird. Is this your spiritual atmosphere, or is this the experience of communicating with this other race of beings? I don't even like calling them gray because I don't know what it is, but they aren't gray aliens. They are gray aliens, but they aren't. I don't know how to... There's a conversation about this going on here. I'm telling them, it's like, yeah, okay, all right, I'm going to try to align with exactly as you want the message to be relayed. But then now we're just kind of nitpicking, because how else are we supposed to identify you are gray in color? And then we associate that with aliens that look like this specifically, and now we call them grays. But that's kind of how our humanism manifests the understanding for all of us to relate to, right? But there's something about not wanting to have that as their identity to us, not wanting to be identified as grays. This conversation here is very hard on my body. It feels really hard on my body emotionally. It feels very crushing. I'm still learning, because I'm in the process of having a conversation, like bing, 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 information, as I'm also trying to energetically heal you, Julian, as I'm also trying to make sense of why does this feel all this way, and what's up with the magnets, and what does all this mean, so I can actually relay a message to you. They're understanding that I need space. That's because I'm channeling you, but I'm trying to help Julian right now, but I know this is part of the help, this is part of the message. But I need you to kind of like lighten up on the magnet stuff, because that's really making it hard for me to do what I do. They want me to see them as having heart and having soul. They want me to see them as far more loving than we have identified them as before. They say gray is a reflection of who we were, as in a form without heart. And now we are a form with heart. This saying that hybrid children is our form with heart, whereas gray was our form without heart. And thanks to humanity, our form now possesses or is blessed with heart, and now we can understand what blessing actually is. And they cry in gratitude. Thanks to humanity, we have been blessed with heart and the ability to know what a blessing is. For you to understand human, so to speak, like talking to humanity, for you to understand what a blessing is, you take it for granted. We're so new to, it's like this is so beautiful and so monumental that we feel blessing every single day to have what we have. And we have this because of you. So you too should feel blessed every single day to have what you have. So why don't you feel blessed? That's kind of the question. They're not in that state. They're totally in the state of we are blessed and not asking why don't you feel blessed. But it's also an interesting parallel, because this gift that of their expansion is because of us. So we bless them, but we're the ones that were blessed in the first place, but we would never consider ourselves as blessed. But why? There's like a deeper question. That's kind of like a spirit guide, like a higher self type of like throwing that in as a contemplative question. But these sort of beings here, what do they look like? I just feel their essence talking to me, and you could imagine it like a tree. I'm like a tree with lots of roots, and so these roots are going deep into the soils, and I'm just absorbing like information. I'm absorbing water. I'm absorbing the wisdom. So my tree roots are expanded out. I'm communicating with consciousness. What would be defined as they don't want to be called gray alien beings, because they're beyond that now. They have the emotions that they need to comprehend themselves, and so now they're in gratitude of this. So what do they feel like? They feel like water. I feel like I'm communicating with one source of information, but I also feel there's lots of little fragmented pieces of information coming through at the same time, and it's just like I'm roots absorbing water. I just happen to be absorbing water from over here, and then over here, and then over here, and then over here, but in the end it's all water. It's just all consciousness is absorbing into me. So I'm just understanding. I'm trying to make sure that I'm hearing everybody, because feels like lots of people here. It's really lovely, because I've had very uncomfortable interactions with beings of this kind, and It feels particularly gross and pukey. I mean, I actually could vomit from it. Like when I interact with a being that is lacking certain energy identities, and because of that lack, they don't work with a frequency of love. They just work with like a robotic frequency, and they could be very self-centered. Even they could be very just gross. I mean, these are the type of forms that could do terrible things and not have a clue that they were doing terrible things, because they have no way of translating those actions. They would be able to take a daddy long leg spider and rip the legs off, but have no relationship that was that they couldn't emotionally connect with why that's a bad thing. Like, so I felt forms like this, and so we actually as human beings can help them feel by giving them love, into their heart. So this is really lovely for me, because these beings that are like gray alien beings, but we aren't going to call them that. I don't know what they want me to call them. But they show me there's a female one and there's a male one, and they can have interconnected loving experiences. And this is new to them. They're exploring it. They're really excited to talk about, can you imagine being in a race and for the first time kind of thing, we are able to fall in love and feel what that feels like. Do you understand what a big deal this is? That's what they're like talking right now. They are. I mean, it's like people. It feels like moms and dads and babies. And they're all like gray alien beings, but they feel like they have heart and ability and emotional interaction, which they can feel rigid, they can feel cold, they can feel soulless, they can feel hollow, they can feel kind of creepy because of all this, but these ones do not. They feel really warm and rosy and pink in color. This female really likes to accentuate that she is a female, so I can't really call her gray because she really has a female identity kind of thing. But I don't know what to call you. I mean, I'm saying I don't know what to call you. You don't want to be called gray, but I don't know what to call you. What would you like me to call you? There's no... That's... Everything is shifting or changing. It's getting very dense right now. I feel really low to the ground, like a crushing feeling. I'm shown a scene where I'm basically like a little kid, like a 9-year-old kid, and I'm trapped inside of a tree bark. Like I'm literally ingrained into the tree. But the weight of the tree is crushing me. My identity is not a tree. My identity is a human identity, but yet I am born to live inside of a tree. And so how is it that I am a human if I am living in a tree? Literally, I am inside of a redwood tree bark, and the bark is growing from me and around me, but I know I'm human and I'm not a tree. But yet I'm forced to be trapped inside of a tree, and I feel just so... I feel suffocated. I feel like density all around me. I feel like I want to escape this, but I can't. I feel trapped. Everything is like in a hazy, like reddish brownish glow. This is a lot harder. So I see these beings. This female one really stands out to me. And she shares energy, actually energy, not thought, energy. Like it comes through a light beam that comes out of her third eye. She's standing here in front of this tree. There's others here standing with her, but she's the only one I can make out with. I can see her clearly. So she stands here and she shares energy into the tree and into you inside of the tree. She's creating a doorway so that you can come out of the tree as yourself, as a human being. She says that they're more able to help human beings now than ever before because they are emotionally tuned into our species where they weren't before. As she reaches her hand out, her fingers are long, and she welcomes you to stand. She shows me that she's not just gray. She has like freckles. It looks like she has freckles on her body. Does she actually have freckles, or is this my translation that she's different than a gray, and then just making her look different? So she does look different than a gray alien being. She shows me like so much pink energy around her eyes and around her head, the structure of her head, which is more kind of like, it's more like, you know, like the cone head people, but not quite so extreme. It's more like kind of like a rounded out forehead is like taller. She's kind of, there's something elegant and graceful about her. She feels natural in her form. She's showing me, it reminds me of an Indian, like deity, multiple arms on either side, and a smile on the face, and sharing higher wisdom. But the arms then are to grasp many areas of enlightenment. But the arms too are like roots that are connected to the one consciousness, which is the water. The water can have many thoughts, right? And so here I am channeling what is like many thoughts, but it feels like one body of water. And then it really comes through what is like a female, but there's lots of other ones here. She wants me to say this one more time. I am helping to create a doorway for you so that you can come out from being stuck inside of a tree. You're a human being, you're not a tree. What does this mean for your own life is the question. How is it in your own life you might feel like you're stuck or you're trapped? You're trapped between like the tree world and the human world, but like you're a human being, you're not a tree, so you need to come out from inside of something that is not you. And so you can truly be you. A tree actually is, you know, obviously a very healthy, very rejuvenating image. So it's not like you're trapped inside of a prison, you're trapped inside of a tree. So the tree is not necessarily a prison, but yet it is, isn't it? Because the tree needs to be a tree and you need to be you. And then we heal both. We heal both the tree and the human. So it feels also kind of like an interconnected Mother Earth message. Like we heal the human and we heal then the earth too. So both heal, the tree and the human. You needed this. I'm starting to understand what that heaviness was, and you need room to breathe, Julian, because there's you really long to have to branch out. You really long to grow out or beyond your body or beyond yourself. You really long to make those connections like I'm making right now. And there's some sort of like density you're creating in the process of doing this, because it's like, I'm going to try, and then I'm going to feel heavy about it in the process. Like it's supposed to be light, you know, and airy. It may feel like it's light and airy, but some part of this is way too dense. And it's not supposed, it should be a lot easier than this. This should feel free flowing, it's like as easy as breathing and exhaling air. I mean, it's as easy as saying I love you, you know, and giving a hug without second guessing yourself. That's what communicating beyond is. It's as easy as picking up your cell phone, dial a number, bam. It's really easy. It's as easy as breathing. It's as easy as eating when you're hungry. It's easy to go and pee when you gotta go pee. It's as easy as doing this stuff, and it's free flowing. So you don't have to try really hard, because when you try really hard, that's not the tree that's branching out. That's the tree that is like, how do I grow? Oh my God, I forgot. I don't know. Tree doesn't do that. Tree just grows, right? It's pretty cool because the interactions, the connections you're having through this is actually very positive. Like sometimes I come into these things and it turns out to be this is very positive. I'm just going to tell you that. And it's very positive experience for me too. In fact, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like I'm growing from it myself, inside myself, because it's good for me to see another side of the gray alien thing, and be able to feel love inside my heart as I feel the love inside their heart too. It's very warm. It feels like a global community, but it's a universe, community universe. It's not just, it's cool because she's talking about, like, in your community, you go to the grocery store and you do these things in your community. Now imagine the community is expanded, and we're not just learning about the daily life of going to the grocery store and back home. That's what we're learning right now on our planet. We go to work, we interact with some people, we go to the grocery store, we wash our dishes, we do our laundry, and it's just like, that's our global community. That's our universe community. That's really sad. That's not a universe community, and we're sort of like being trained to be like ants in an anthill. Like, we're not ants in an anthill, so our psyche, our dynamic, our frequency ranges. The society we're living in is wanting to deduce this down to ants in an ant farm. Like here, honey, 5-year-old kid, look what I got you. A community of ants, and you get to watch them grow and develop. It's beautiful. Human beings are not ants, and our society has been treating us like ants. And so we're not ants, and we need to be living in a society that's actually evolving. We're not ants. So she's talking about, again, we're going back to the global community, the universe community of our human life is go to the grocery store, go to our job, go to home, sleep, do it all over again. Excuse me. That's what we're learning about. That is our wisdom in a lifetime as a human. But she's like, no, this is devastating. You don't do this to somebody who has emotions. You don't do this with somebody who has heart. Somebody who has sexuality, an entire race of beings that we're trying to be aligned with them as extraordinary as ants in an ant farm. But we are so extraordinary, we're such extraordinary beings that she's wanting to show us what a global community actually looks like, with hubs where we get to interact with other alien beings, and we get to actually go into outer space and to see how other communities look, and actually go to other planets and interact with those races of beings, and to feel totally loved and welcomed. The universe is far more welcoming than we are led to believe it is, and since we are led to believe that it's a dangerous world out there, we also find each other as dangerous. And so that's part of the development of the destruction of our society, is we are programmed to believe we are all dangerous. Therefore, alien beings are all dangerous. Therefore, everything in this universe is dangerous, is bad, bad, bad. Even religion teaches that God is a dangerous person, and that if you believe in God, you're going to be punished. There's things about society that is constantly echoing out this frequency about punishment and bad and negative and be afraid right now, that is trying to squish us into a tiny little anthill home, and that's not who we are. That's not our identity. This is a really big message. Oh, okay, because it has to do with all the different. So there's souls that are coming here to Earth with all different talents. So here I am. What is my role here on Earth? Well, I can talk to alien beings. I can do all kinds of stuff, but I'm primarily here to be a healer. Well, there's some people on this planet who, they can do other stuff too. It's like, I can play baseball, and I can speak a foreign language, and I can but I really like to paint, so we can do all kinds of stuff, but we have like a one forte thing. Like, I am a healer, like that's my forte. I can share psychic wisdom, I can talk to aliens, I can do all kinds of stuff, but my forte is really healing. Now there's the bigger structure of how do we break down the ant farm reality. We have to have souls doing all types of different roles in order to create an earthquake in the frequency or the energy field that is surrounding our world, that's kind of enveloping us and programming us to be ants in an ant farm. So we need people like you, for instance, Julian, to shake up the system, to shake up that energy, but really to work, to be kind of a worker with this sort of alien experience where, I mean, everybody has their specific role. Like Tesla, for instance, Tesla Motors, that specific role is to introduce green energy vehicles. Specific role, right? Tesla Motors is probably going to do a lot more than just that over the course of its future. But there's people that have amazing scientific ability. Some people have amazing, they are animators and are creating awesome cartoons. I swear to God, Adventure Time is like a human ascension cartoon. But not everybody's going to see it that way. But I resonated with it on such a crazy spiritual level, like it opens up my Pandora's box. But you see how each soul has its own resonating like gift to give. And so when we start to see, she's talking again about how kids are put into a program where there's kids that are going to be awesome at it and there's kids that aren't, because not every kid is going to be great at math, science, reading, and all this stuff. Some kids really want to work with the earth and garden. Some kids want to just do sports and that's it. Some kids, and they can, those sporty kids can also learn how to do other stuff with their athletic gifts, and to make it fun. But there's like our whole system needs to revamp how it's what its ideas are for helping to grow our generations. The hybrid children are from another race. Your hybrid children, Julian, your hybrid children for another race, are really wanting to integrate into our world to help teach us about the beauty of diversity, and help remind us and help us remember the blessing of our identity. Not that we hate ourselves and now we hate everything in the universe, but that we are beautiful gifts to each other, and to really bring out those gifts in all that they are. So, but it's complicated because I'm seeing the bigger picture of planet Earth, and it feels like to us, I feel the human side and I feel the alien side, but it kind of intermixes. It feels really like a big problem, like too big of a cancer to heal this one. We might as well just let it die. No, that's not going to happen. It's going to shimmy shake off. It's going to break off because there's too many consciousness involved on and off the planet, and within the souls like me and you, for instance, that are here to break down the structure and rebuild society in a way that is just enlightenment. Is about love. Is about loving diversity. It really is about loving diversity. Even kids loving their own gifts and not being jealous of other kids, not wanting to be like any other kid but themselves, feeling like they have a nurturing place to grow around kids with like minds, and not just throw them all together like a barrel of monkeys and have them figure it out. All the while we're going to be putting on all this like news feeds and television feeds about a chaotic world where human beings are killing each other, and we're going to make you feel depressed along with that, and we're just going to keep beating down the human race until we're totally squashed under our own atmosphere, and then we die, and that's the end of it. So now we're understanding the connection of this message with everything. I'm going to pause this for just a moment. Okay, you needed a minute there. All right, let me reconnect. It's really beautiful because, again, these beings that you're working with are super loving, and they feel like us in a way. They feel like human beings, but they're in a different body with different faces, different skin colors, but they feel like human beings, and it's more like we're not grays because we're human beings. That's kind of what they're like. So what do you call me? You call me a human being, but they don't look anything like us. You could imagine it as, like we have issues with this even today, but you have a white race, right? And then for the first time ever, we're seeing black people, and we're like, oh my God, God created burnt human beings, they must be from hell. Like that is so superficial. And so human beings today, we're still working on this. We're still working on accepting diverse races, right? We're still working on it. But how are we going to, if we can't love each other for the way that we are, then how are we going to love alien beings? They call themselves human beings. They don't call them gray alien beings. They call themselves human beings. They don't look anything like human beings. They don't. They don't look like human beings. Like if one of them got off the airplane, you'd be like, that's an alien being. Yeah, you see where we at on between the ant farm and the global community. They call it a global community, but it's like it's a universe community. I mean, it's on and off the planet constantly, and it's full of smiling faces, and it's full of love, and it's full of appreciation and respect for each other. What the hell wanted to create like an energy globe in a way that would want to squash such a beautiful race such as the human race into the size of an ant in an ant farm? That's like really not right. It's a really not right thing to do. But in the process, it feels like our evolution has been kind of monitored or known about, and there's even deeper. This is you decide what you want to believe, okay? But it feels like deep beneath the surface of this, deep, even deeper than the consciousness itself, knew the value of what happens with pressure. Pressure actually rebirths things into beautiful diamonds. It's like the coal in Superman's hand. Heat and pressure creates now a diamond. So the evolution of the human race, you could say, a higher consciousness. Was it one person or was it many people? Is it the water or was it a droplet? Higher consciousness saw the value of the human race and knew the value of doing something to destroy the human race in order to rebirth it as a diamond of its own right. So in that way, we should feel blessed that it has gotten so bad that we've been reduced to ants in an ant farm, because now as we're expanding out of this reality and coming into our own, we're going to be brighter than the sun, and we're going to be more exquisite than the most beautiful diamonds. And that is the reality of our human race. So you needed to know this. I mean, there's something I'm still not quite understanding why they're just wanting me to channel all this information to you, Julian. It's like, it's not just for you because it's for me, it's for everybody, and it's also because of your soul. Your soul is the reason why this message is coming forward, and you have a lot to be proud of. If it weren't for your soul, this message wouldn't exist on YouTube today. It wouldn't exist for other people to get to learn about gray alien beings or hybrid children, or the grays that are now calling themselves human beings. And they really do feel that way. They really do feel like they identify themselves as human beings because they aren't grays. It's kind of special for me because where I've come from, this is a very one-of-a-kind interaction with what is like a gray alien, but is also doesn't necessarily look gray, does look gray, but they I'm so used to them being hollow and creepy feeling, and like Nightmare on Elm Street is coming to visit me, and they're like a psychotic scientist, but they don't relate to, they aren't psychotic, they're just like a robotic computer that is in a form, in a body that has no emotions. It feels horrible. As a healer, I'm a feeler, so I feel what their energy identity is, and it creeps me the living daylights out that such a creation could actually exist, because it feels so hollow and cold and empty. But that's because without emotion, you can't decide whether you want to be chaos or you want to be love, and how do you really work in the frequencies of either? You're kind of just a shell. You're a physical form. So they really don't resonate with being gray. And because I'm able to feel the difference, it's like mind-blowing, because I've never connected with hybrid children before. I've never connected with that frequency of gray alien before. How many different types of gray aliens are there? There's so many. I mean, how many different kinds of human beings are there? Like, you could say white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people, we're all the same. But there's something different. There's something uniquely different about the way white people express themselves over the way black people express themselves, or the way Hispanics express themselves, or Asians. So we're not just different by the way that we look, but we have a design, you know? Like, we have a design of expression. That also constitutes our kind of our form too. So there's all different types of ways that one race, like a gray alien race, for instance, could also be different categories of the same, you know? So things are just really slowing down considerably, really relaxing. And I'm asking the bigger picture. So these friends of yours, these hybrid children, they call themselves your family. They don't like, for me, I'm just sort of like, I'm still learning how to relate to this whole thing. It's like a really interesting shish kebab. But they call themselves your family, and it's not like they're your helpers or your guides or your like alien contacts, or they're your family. I mean, that's what they're saying. So I'm talking to your family, your alien hybrid family, that loves you. They love you. But they love me. They love everybody watching the video. They love the human race. They feel blessed by the human race, but they also feel like they can really help the human race too, because of what they're understanding about human emotion and what actually is going to help us grow. And they're part of. This sounds really nuts, but this human race is like where did we come from? You know, I mean, that's a big question. I don't have the answer to that question, but on some level, it feels to me like the human race was really like a science project kind of thing. We're like seeds put into the ground, but we're like seeds that were crafted to be a certain design, and then we'll see how they grow, right? But in the process, there's so much like infinite universe wisdom going on here that goes way beyond. Like it feels like an incarnate race, but it feels so connected with creation energy that goes so much deeper than it goes deep into ancient history, as far as how it understands about how races grow and develop and how they impact other planets and the balance of the universe, and even like millions and millions and millions of years in a single lifetime, being able to watch and observe and also interact with as a consciousness or a race or a species of some kind that is helping us grow as a human race. Somehow also knew about this future moment where we would be helped or assisted by other beings that we would end up helping in the end too. It's really messed up because it seems like it already knew itself. It already knew everything. Well, that's boring. If you already knew everything, like that kind of makes it like loses its flavor of excitement, you know? Like, can you imagine knowing everything for the next 2 billion years and nothing surprises you? Like that kind of sucks, you know? But it's weird because it's like the consciousness just knew everything, but was also totally in love and at peace and so happy even to see the demolishment and the destruction of an entire race of beings, only to be reborn under the heat and pressure of the Superman hand into exquisite diamonds as an ultimate gift to the universe. So every human being on this planet is an ultimate gift to the universe. Every soul that incarnates here is a gift to the universe, and these beings that call themselves human beings also feel like we're all family. Like they feel like my family too. They feel like everybody's family because we're all part of the same, like something about our identity is now their identity, and they feel like they want to help us like we're their brothers and sisters and moms and dads and everything. It's really, really beautiful and sweet and kind, and it's like the way we always wanted life to be, you know? It's the way we want our earth world to be. It's the type of reality we want to give to our kids, is the one that they're talking about and the one that they are choosing to help us with. I really want to connect with some more information, but it's really hard to It feels like this session, Julian, is specifically just to talk about all of these things. Because you needed to hear all of this, you needed to hear this. I'm waiting just a moment here. It feels... I'm wanting to go into your spiritual atmosphere more to actually do feel around in there and see how your energy balance is. But I'm so they're so I've been wanting, talk, just wanting to tell you and help you understand and help you know and see and feel more close and more connected to the love that we are, and to know that we are part of you and you are a part of us, and we are grateful. Like, the feeling of human is so human, and alien is so, it's not alien. They don't like the word gray or alien being or their family, they're human. That's what it's like. Very genuinely saying that from the heart. They very genuinely resonate fully with that as all there is, was, and ever will be. Like, that is their motto. That is what they stand by. Just a minute here. I'm just gonna relax. Trying to get some information about you getting to visit them, or like getting to remember or have more recall or something of that kind. There really is a very firm message about what truly is the right time for things. We want it. We want it as bad as we want, a lottery, winning lottery ticket. Like, we want that new car. We want that, I want to win that $1,000 cash prize. I want, we want things, but we also feel kind of entitled to it as well, which you would have a right to feel entitled to that. But it truly is not, it is definitely not the right time. Like, that's really loud, that it is not yet the time. It's hard to even push through it, because even I'm trying to break down the consciousness idea that it isn't the right time, because it always is the right time if we're in the right energy vibration. It just depends on where your mindset is, right? So if we could break down the mindset as to what I deserve or what I don't deserve, and simply allow it to just deserve or be ready for everything, now you truly can be. So I'm trying to break this down, break down whatever this, it's like really thick, heavy, dense, it's like, nope, not ready yet, not the right time yet. But it's like, who's anybody to say? Like, I could probably break this down, but it's not just breaking down. It's really firm about it. It's like trying to move a giant's foot. It's really put its foot down and says not the right time. I just say, okay, well, what else? What else? Just a minute here. Feels like I'm kind of the dog off the leash now. Like, I can actually do what I usually do. So I'm just checking out your heart portal here. I'm just clearing it. Like, there's a fatty layer of tissue around it's just energy layer. It's like a fatty tissue. It's like a fatty tissue, or like all the way around your body, energy layer. It's really easy to just dissolve it down, but it's interconnected with the echo from your heart. So I'm just going into your heart here. I mean, there's just a lot of tire. I feel like I've been kind of beat up along this road. and kind of worn out, and I just want to feel like I've got my niche or my place to start planting my roots and growing. Like, you're really ready to plant your roots and start growing and developing your identity, but there's a lot more that you need to work on within yourself, and discovering who you truly are and why you came here. You're really you've got a long ways to go, like in the self-discovery arena, because there's something that you have to discover for yourself. We can't just give you the answers kind of thing. It's kind of the annoying, like, oh great, so I have to live my life, and then, you know, I figure it out, and then I'll be able to finally get to see the spaceship or whatever. But that's very clear that I'm just continuing to check out your heart portal. It feels heavy in here. It feels like you've got some serious self-discovery still to do. One thing's for sure, you need to work on really loving yourself a lot, and growing out of something that feels stifling and choking behavior, where you just say, I'm not going to do that anymore to myself. I'm not going to choose that anymore for myself. I'm going to break out of what is a really tight candy wrapper, and I'm just going to break that open, and I'm going to come out, and I'm going to just start being me. But you don't even know who you is. You don't even know how you're supposed to work with that. It's sort of like, here's the clay, what am I supposed to mold it into? You don't even know what you are supposed to be or what your identity is. And the thing is God, for instance, alien beings, our spirit guides, angels, I don't care, you know, they don't just come out of and then just give you all the answers. Your soul didn't come here to be human so that it would just get all the answers and then be like the super conscious that knows everything for the next 2 billion years. Well, that's awesome. Good for you. That's not what we came here. We actually came here to work through living in the dark and overcoming the illusions of self, overcoming ourself, overcoming our emotions, our minds, all that stuff. We came here to overcome, to conquer, and then through that are we reborn, and now we are truly ourselves, and now we can start doing what we came here to do. Without them telling, they can give you hints, and they can't, that's not for you yet to have that experience, because it's for you to start hankering down and saying, it's time now. And part of that is literally, show me, help me to see. And it's going to be invisible. It's going to be like the wind is talking to you, and you're probably not going to hear it half the time, but you're going to notice little details along the way to say, somebody is helping me, and I'm not just doing this by myself. And I am noticing somebody is helping me because over the last couple of months, I've had this thing happen and this thing happen, and I had that thing happen, and I've had some of the strangest dreams, and I've woken up feeling like really accomplished, and like I understand something I wasn't able to understand it before. And they're little breadcrumbs. They're like little breadcrumbs. And it's kind of like you got this feeling like you needed to get this session here with me. And by the way, Julian's got a couple more sessions coming up, so we're gonna learn more. But it's like breadcrumbs, right? You got the hint, and now here is one of the breadcrumbs. Okay. I'm really a huge advocate for giving people more to work with, but this is the start. This is just the start. This start is this message for you. You don't even have a clue. Like you're doing a good job, but yet you have so much further to go with what you could be doing here. When it comes to having these interactions, like, I mean, I'm still watching. I don't get why it feels so heavy in here and so smashed down, and it's very smashing in energy for myself. You clearly are getting messages. You are translating the messages extremely well, but it also feels like there's like where you are now is awesome, right? But actually what you can be doing, it's a development. You get there. Like what I was doing 5 years ago was just like breadcrumbs in comparison to what I am doing right now. And 5 years ago, I did not consider myself psychic. I was not a spiritual healer. That would seem like a total fantasy. If somebody would said, in 5 years, Abby, you're going to be doing this, all of these things, I'd be like, yeah, right. No, that's not gonna happen. Now you see the difference. You see, like, this is how awesome you are right now. I was awesome 5 years ago, but no way. I'm like, in comparison to how enlightened, how healed I am on the inside, how able to just be in acceptance and peace and balance with everything, how I'm just able to, I just feel far just, I can't explain it, but where I've been and where I am now is, I don't feel like I am hindered, and I feel like I can express from my heart. I feel like I can be myself. I feel like whatever happens in this life is exactly as it's meant to be, and I welcome the learning without fear or resistance, because that's the learning that makes me stronger and that helps me help other people that much more. So I feel like a vessel of devotion to helping this earth. In the process, I have to continue to work on myself. But how I'm living my life today, so different than what I was living. And you've got, like, it's also the same kind of wavelength for you, how you're living your life now. Just wait, because you think that you are ready now. You have some extraordinary things that you are moving your way towards, and when you get there and you look back, you're gonna say, wow, now I understand. I wasn't ready yet. That's kind of the message. To feel at peace with it, and to just own it, that is part of your journey to be in the dark. It's part of your journey to not know all the answers, and that's beautiful. You don't have to know all the answers. I, Abby, don't have all the answers. I'm far more connected to what the answer could be. But in the end, like, you have a painting, right? A painting's worth 1,000 words. So what truly is the answer of this painting? It actually is whatever you feel the answer is inside yourself, right? So there is no true answer, one and only true answer, because there's so many different ways we could look at the same thing, right? Some people could say the human race is beautiful just as it is. Whereas other people could say the human race is full of disease, infestation, greedy people. Again, it's like kind of that message, one man's treasure, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. Like, this again is, we're just looking at perceptions of what is the bigger answer, what is the truth about everything. But for you, you are like, you still have a long ways to go, but don't take that the wrong way. Please don't take that the wrong way, because you've come so far, and I'm telling you, the difference between this point right here and what this point looks like is different. big difference. But I don't know what this jarring is like. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll come across it in the next session, but it's like a weird black wall, and it's hard to break down, and it has to do with kind of like a self-suffocating decision, but you might not realize that you're kind of doing it to yourself, because it feels like it's a normal thing, like you've integrated into it, where it could be like some people, it's sort of like I hate to pinpoint anything specific, because nothing truly that we do is necessarily a negative thing, but it also, it's all part of the learning. So there is no good or bad, there's only learning, right? But you could say that, like, for instance, here I am as a spiritual healer. Well, a self-suffocating choice would be for me to said, no, I don't ever want to share myself with the world. That's too big for me to do that. I'm just going to keep everything inside myself. I'm not going to make YouTube videos. No, I'm not going to do that, because that's a little bit too asking. I'm not ready. I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to make a video. I don't know what people are going to think about me. People I know are probably going to watch it and think I'm a freaking lost my mind. Probably might even lose my job over it. So I'm not going to do that. I had to break down a lot of barriers, and I had zero confidence. I had nobody to talk to. I had no support. I had to do it all by myself. And yes, the videos were seen. I was looked at as a freaking lunatic. But I still was following my heart, and I still am who I am today. So I was self-punishing, right? By not being myself. And I wouldn't have had a clue what the hell that even means until I became myself. And I'm still working on becoming myself. I'm more myself today than I was even last year, and I was the year before that, and was the year before that. because I'm learning about love and I'm learning about self-expression. I'm learning about the bigger picture. I'm learning about all of that stuff, and I'm expressing myself as I'm meant to, right? So you can see, what is this self-imprisoning thing you're doing? It could be as normal as just living your everyday life, but doing something that is preventing you from growing and expanding freely and being totally you, totally free to be you. So I don't have enough time to go into translating all that. This is your message. This is a totally huge, awesome message. Teaches us a whole lot about hybrid children. I didn't even know. And I get it now because I can feel it inside myself when I communicate with them. It's not just, I'm hearing the information, I don't really get it because I'm not, that's not part of my frequency. That's not part of my life. Like, that's not part of what I do. But now that I've had that interaction, I relate to it. I feel like I could share wisdom about it. I can share understanding because I can feel it. It's really beautiful. It's very positive. Gives me a whole nother look at what gray alien beings mean to me. Another look at how alien beings are interacting with our planet, and another look at the human race as the condition of our race is actually a beautiful thing that's breaking us down into glorious diamonds. So you see the bigger picture. This is the message for you. All right, I'm just going to relax for a minute. That was pretty cool, Julian. Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm still kind of coming back to being a normal human in my own brain and my own body, my own feelings. And so I feel just like an individual. It's amazing how your frequency changes when you communicate with other beings in spiritual atmosphere. Like, I feel like I kind of like this right here, there's like an energy that goes really swirly and then really loud, and it goes outward. It feels like when I come back down, I kind of come back down into here, and then I'm like myself again, and it's sort of like, wow, that was kind of crazy. All right, I don't know what else to say. I'm a little bit dumbfounded in my head, so I'm just gonna thank you again, Julian. You're awesome, and I'm looking forward to the future sessions. One thing for those of you watching, if you're interested in me doing a soul rebirth journey for you, it's totally worth it. We'll learn all about you. We can explore anything you want to explore. Or if you don't have any specific goals, it doesn't matter. I'll just go in your spiritual atmosphere and we'll see what's there, okay? I'm going to learn all kinds of stuff about you. But then also, I was gonna say that, so Julian's got a few more sessions coming up. Usually soul rebirth journeys are really intense energetically. Just, you may feel it, you may not feel it, but you'll notice yourself feeling expanded. You'll feel more clarity, you'll feel harmonized, you'll have better dreams. And it lasts, like the first 2 to 3 weeks are where the strongest echoes of change happen, noticeable change happen. The change is forevermore. You'll never be able to rebuild those structures the same way ever again. So the structures that are holding you back are going to be broken down, so you'll be free to work with new energies, okay? So usually, like Julian, you're totally, whenever you're ready to do the next session, I'm just going to leave it up to you. But my rule of thumb is to give it like 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. If you feel your heart is saying, 2 weeks in, I really want you to look at something else, then we can certainly do that. So if you guys are wanting to check back and see what's going on with Julian again, it's probably going to be about 3 weeks from now. Or maybe 2 weeks, I don't know, but 3 to 4 weeks is my rule of thumb on follow-up sessions, just to give your body, your emotional body, your mental body, all that you are, time to rebalance and restructure. And just because I've been channeling this whole time does not mean I was not doing energy work on you, because I was building up what was like a confidence within your own consciousness about you being ready for something, more ready than you've ever been before, and coming ingrained with more like confidence of your psychic experiences, and what they're sharing with you is also similar to what I'm experiencing as well, but then going beyond it to really help you get to know who these wonderful beings are, while also discovering that your soul is the gift in itself that is giving all this, sharing all this wisdom with all of us, including myself. So this is really a gift to humanity from your soul, but it's also from these beautiful loving family members, and just the bigger picture of understanding for all of us. So pretty neat. But there's energy work involved, and you'll be feeling it. So, okay, if you guys are interested, anybody interested in a soul rebirth journey or any type of session, I've got all types of sessions, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all. Thank you, Julian, and I wish you all a wonderful day.